A fifth thing I would say, not only to young adults, but I would say to every listening ear. You need to plant yourself quickly into a Christ-centered community of God-fearing people. In other words, the church. Now, on most college campuses, there are well-intended and functionally helpful, sometimes, I need to qualify this or quantify this, college campus ministries. I will not give a blanket green light to every college campus ministry. Part of that reason is because, again, the love of our culture has so infiltrated the young adult in the American culture that even those who are leading campus ministries are more in love with people who love them than they are with leading people to love God. Now, that's not an indictment against every campus minister. I know some God-fearing campus ministers, and I would send any young person to them. But in my years of rubbing elbows with campus ministers, one problem is that the campus ministry thinks his campus ministry is the church. It is no substitute for the church. Put a period by that. There is no substitute for the church anywhere, everywhere. Now, the argument comes back to me from time to time whenever I make these kinds of things and say these kinds of things is, well, you know that where the scripture says wherever two or three are gathered together, that there Christ is in the midst of them. And this is true. I wouldn't refute that. I wouldn't deny that. But I wouldn't say that just because a couple of professing Christians are together, that that's the church. We must be careful. And this is something that I think that we've seen in the path that the Lord has led us in as a church, the benefit of being engaged in a multi-generational congregation. If there is one thing that young adults need in our culture, well, let me back that off. They need a lot of things. Among those things is they need a Chuck Castle to sit down next to them someday. They need a Mark and an India King to sit down with them someday and pick them up. They need a Gene Lawley to charge them to memorize Scripture. They need a Chuck and a Carol Vosser. Just come and spend a day with us. They need a Jen Ennis to say, listen, why don't you come to dinner with me? Let me tell you about my life and my journey with the Lord. The last thing that most young adults need in our culture is to hang out with their peers who love to hate God as much as they do. I would say to every young adult about to leave their home, whether it's to the campus or to the military or it's into a career, whatever it is, engage yourself and plant yourself in a Christ-centered, God-fearing, multi-generational church. I would go so far as to say, do it on the very first Sunday you're away from home, and do not leave that place again. Stop this insatiable appetite in our culture of shopping for churches. Well, go find out. Ask your parents. Ask people in a community. Tell me where a God-fearing, Bible-preaching, multi-generational church is. That's where I want to go. Do that. And plant yourself there and engage yourself there.